Okay, she's back, as E.T. says. I think that's E.T. Okay, let's try to move along. Uh, my name is Carol again, and the title of my series is Drawdown to the Second Coming of Christ. I'm the presenter of the first time series, so I'm actually excited. I do want to tell you, though, I'm speaking to you on a Sunday afternoon, sort of what, 3:45 p.m., about 3:35 p.m., and local time. And this is Sunday, January the 20th, 2008. So let's move along. Now, here's another resource. I want to give them credit throughout the series, so you won't forget most of their names. All right, now, or some of their names. I revised this part of the series on 12/15/07, and I derived this part of the series. I finished part 2. Now I'm on to 2A. Part 3, which is the last part of the series, has a 3A with a summary and conclusion. But we got a little ways to go to get to that yet. So this is part 2A of my first series, Drawdown to the Second Coming of Christ. I derived this part from Tomorrow's World Literature. Okay? And the subject for part 2A of Drawdown to the Second Coming of Christ is Israel, the land of Israel, a gift or not. It also has a subtopic, and that is a family rivalry. Boy, that's really interesting, to say the least. Okay? Now, so we're going to go ahead with that and give you the key Bible quote. And that says, the original King James version of the Bible is the Bible I used, and the same, scriptures that I gave you in the beginning with part 2 goes for this as well. Now, the key Bible quote for 2A, "And God said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant." Wanted to, put emphasis on that word. "And with his seed after him." End of quote. With Isaac's seed after him. Everlasting covenant. All right, general comments. For thousands of years now, the Jews and Arabs, have been disputing over who owns the land or who has a right to the land where Israel now resides. Okay? Reason being that the Jews and the Arabs, and even Christians, one of which I am, trace our roots back through biblical roots back through Abraham, because as we know, Abraham is the father of many nations. This dispute between the Arabs and the Jews continues today, 2008, as I speak. Okay? And we will probably never see the resolution thereof. Nevertheless, let us take another look at what history has to say about this continued rivalry. God promised Abraham, whose name was then, quote-unquote, Abram, he would have a son in his old age. However, Abram's wife, her name at the time was, quote-unquote, Sarai, was unable to bear a child. She was barren. So Sarai, not God, Abram's wife Sarai, suggested that her husband Abram have a child with their Egyptian handmaid named Hagar, who was of Arab descent. At the age of 86, a son was born to Abram and Hagar, who was named Ishmael. Now, you can find that in Genesis chapter 16, verses 15 through 16. There's a lot of scripture in here, so you can back up what I'm saying. Most of today's Arabs trace their heritage back to Abraham through Ishmael. Okay. At the age of 99 years, God made a covenant promise agreement with Abraham, saying that Abraham would be the quote-unquote father of many nations, which he is. At this point, Abram's name was changed to Abraham by God himself. God also changed Sarai's name to Sarah. By the way, the name Abraham, by the way, means quote-unquote father of a multitude. That's the reason why so many different cultures and ethnic background, ethnicities, I want to say, trace their roots back, biblical roots back through Abraham. Now, Genesis chapter 17, verse 19 tells us that Sarah, Abraham's wife, who is a Jew, who was a Jew now, Jewish descent, would bear a son whose name would be called Isaac, and that God would establish a covenant not only with Isaac, but with Isaac's seed, his descendants, forever. Now, Judah, a grandson of Isaac, would be the Jewish ancestor of the Jews who now live in modern Israel. After Isaac's birth, Sarah demanded that Abraham get rid of Hagar and her son Ishmael. After she told him they have a baby with his handmaid, now that she had her own child, she wants her husband Abraham to get rid of his first son with the handmaid Hagar, which he did, by the way, although it saddened Abraham to do so. Now, you can read that in Genesis chapter 21 and verse 10. Now, the Lord gave Abraham comfort in the fact that even though Hagar and Ishmael would have to leave, Isaac, his son, Abraham's son, with his wife, Sarah, would be from where Abraham's seed would come. And you can read that in Genesis chapter 21 and verse 13. I'm going to shut down now because I don't want to take a little brief pause break, because I don't want to run these tapes too long, these clips. Okay, see you in a few. Maybe. Good Lord willing. Okay? I'm out.